There are a lot of us in the BitTensor ecosystem who just stare at different pages in taostats all day long. This isn't the time to talk about my tab problem, but this is one of the tabs I often have open. This is the subnet page at taostats. Over the last weekend, we had a lot of people notice that when you look at the subnets, you can see their emission, but the emissions don't add up to 100%. So we'd expect that right now, before the first halving, there's 1 tau emitted. We know that there's 1 tau emitted, but it looks like when we sum it up, we're only giving out 0.93 tau to all the subnets. So where's that other 0.07 tau going? In this video, we're going to walk through that. So what's going on? We know that there's 1 tau per block. We're giving out 0.93, so that 0.07 ends up being 504 tau a day. Now, that's a pretty big number. Of course, it's important to look at this after the halving as well. In December, we're going to have a halving, and there's only going to be half a tau per block. Again, everything's just halved, so if this same emission held out, it would just be 252 tau a day going to these chain buys. If I come over here, you can see the daily chain buys and the numbers for a bunch of the subnets, and we can sort that obviously to see the subnets that have the biggest daily chain buys. Right now, the largest one is subnet 51, followed by shoots and score. But how do we get to those numbers? In November, we changed the way emission flows into subnets. It's based on the tau flow. And every block, you can measure how much tau was staked in, how much was unstaked, and that's your flow per block. To simplify this, and to make it less chaotic, we use an exponential moving average with a half-life of 30 days. So that's what the formula looks like. And we say flows can't be negative. So if you have a negative flow, you just have 0 emission. So we can go to the chain, we can pull those numbers. So for example, when I recorded this video, subnet 64 had an EMA, a normalized EMA flow of 10.87%. But the problem is, shoot's emission is actually 8.72. So where's that difference going, right? There's a little over 2% difference here. And what's important here is to look at the price. Because when you're doing emission, we know what the tau in is. It's whatever this EMA flow is. And to calculate alpha in, we take tau in and divide it by the price. But if we use those numbers, we get an alpha in of 1.24. We can't have an alpha in of 1.24. The largest alpha in can be is 1. So then we have to work backwards. If the biggest alpha in is 1, then the tau in is going to have to be equal to the price, so that x over 0.0872 is equal to 1. So tau in is 0.0872. All right, but now we've got this other problem where the chain wants to give subnet 64 0.108, and we can only give it 0.0872. So we call this the excess tau. We subtract it, and it's 0.0215 tau a block, which is 154.8 tau a day. So what do we do with that excess tau? Well, what this is telling us is the EMA is saying the price should be closer to 0.0108, but it's actually 0.0872. So what happens is this excess tau gets sold into the liquidity pool, which decreases the alpha in by 0.247, and then that alpha is recycled. And so what the chain is doing is it's buying alpha and recycling it, causing the price to go up. And so what's happening here is the chain is saying the EMA is higher than what the actual emission is, so we're going to buy tau every single day for alpha and recycle that alpha. We're going to increase the price so that we can emit more alpha, and therefore pulling the price up to therefore raising the emission in the subnet. And so a quick giveaway is if the price is bigger than the emission, we're going to see this daily chain buy for a subnet. Now, if we expand this out, we can see that as of right now, about 39 subnets, 40 subnets are having a chain buy to kick the price up of the subnet and to increase the emission. So the daily chain buy is one of the byproducts of switching to the emission flow. It's sort of similar to what we had before in terms of a subsidy. But what it's doing is it's working to push the price up for subnets that are undervalued. As always, stay tuned to the taostats YouTube channel for the latest news on changes on the BitTensor network. There's 1,000 things going on. It's hard to wrap your head around all of them, but we're here to show you the highlights of what's happening on the chain. Thank you for watching.